Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new episode of Beyond Mirage. Today, we have with us Nakul Agrawal, who is a TEDx speaker, a yogi, and is recognized as the youngest mystic. He also runs an NGO called Renovatio India, which focuses on holistic, innovative education, inner exploration, and social interventions for uplifting the consciousness and quality of life. Welcome, Nakul, to the podcast and web series of Beyond Mirage.
Thank you so much, Jay. It's a pleasure being with you and on this series with your listeners. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Nakul, for being here. So, first of all, you are recognized as the youngest mystic. So, I would like to start with that. Who is actually a mystic?
Oh, very interesting question, Jay. Well, a mystic is simply someone who has somewhere decoded the mystery of life, right? Because the way we are brought up, we are made aware of the mystery of everything around us. Why do the winds blow the way they blow? What is gravity? So why does the apple fall down when thrown up in the air? And so on and so forth. But nobody really talks about the mystery about the world inside, about why we do what we do, about what is life really, what is death, right? Where do we come from? Where do we go? Perhaps, right? And what makes us happy? What makes us sad? What is the driving reason behind all our actions and intentions? So, someone who understands the mystery of himself, the mystery of life, the mystery of creation is just someone who's called a mystic, right? People also call it someone who has had a God realization, self-realization, enlightenment. That too is what a mystic is really defined as. So yeah, in a few words, that's what a mystic is.
Got it. So, definitely these questions are really interesting, and everyone at certain point of time in their life would definitely question themselves that what is making them happy, what is making them sad, where are we coming from, what is my existence on this earth, what is my purpose of life. Yes, definitely. But how actually one can know the mysteries of all life?
Well, it's very simple, Jay. I have a simple formula, something which worked for me and which has worked for a lot of people whom I have been, teaching or sharing my experience with. The formula is observation plus inquiry, right? It's the same formula, Jay, which exists for any scientific approach to discover anything outside, to understand the ways of the world. First, you need to observe what is happening. Like Newton observed that an apple fell on his head, right? And then he inquired, which means he wondered, why is the apple falling down and not going up? Why are everything falling down, right? So the process of getting clarity about the purpose of life, about who you are, about the truth of everything that exists, it remains the same. Just the focus changes, right? For a lot of other things, you are outward oriented. But for this, you're inward oriented, right? So you observe what is happening inside, what kinds of thoughts are arising, what kinds of feelings are arising, what kinds of emotions are arising, why are they arising the way they are, why do you feel bad when someone says something and good when someone says something else? Why do you seek approval or validation of someone else? What makes you get up? What makes you go to sleep? And what really happens when you're asleep, right? So the process is same. You observe what is happening and you inquire. Once you inquire, you get an answer, but you don't stop there. You again question the answer which you get. Then you get another answer. Oh, that probably this might be the reason, right? Like in science, we have theories. Oh, this could be the hypothesis. This might be the reason why this is happening. And then you go on inquiring and experimenting about that hypothesis. If you do not find any evidence to the contrary, it means that the hypothesis is probably true, right? Same is the process for the world inside. You observe acutely whatever is happening and you inquire, and then you get an answer which could just be a hypothesis, right? So you inquire further, like questioning the answer, and you go on doing so, uncovering layers after layers, just like you peel an onion, right? Similarly, you peel the layers of yourself.
Okay.
And one fine day, you realize yourself. So the word is self-realization, right? If you realize something, it means it is something real, which is already there. You cannot achieve it. You can only discover it because it always exists.
Okay.
Right? Like when you peel the layers of the onion, the inside, the core is always there. You just discover it after you go on peeling it.
Right.
Similarly, the mystery of everything which you call as life, the answers to all your questions about life are always there within each one of you. The problem is that you don't, make an effort to really discover it. But if you do make an effort, then now nobody and nothing can stop you from doing so. So yeah, that's the process.
Awesome. Very nicely explained by taking the example of onion, because that actually fits into the mind. And say, as you told that we are outward oriented, and the mysteries of life that we have to discover or which are already present, but to find the answer, we need to go within. So there is this contradiction between where you should go. So what is the ideal balance, or how should one approach towards life? Because maximum of the times, like if I say make a pie chart of my 24 hours, then maximum amount of time I am doing some activities which is outward oriented, and very few time I'm devoting to my inner world, right? So what actually has to be an approach to this?
Jay, very simple. Firstly, you need to question, why do you do whatever you do? Now, whatever you do, all your actions which are even outward oriented, the core reason behind all these actions, what do you think it is?
The core reason
What is one single reason because of which you're doing everything? Yeah,
it's to find happiness.
absolutely. And if you were to define happiness, what would that be? What is happiness?
Happiness is a state which continuously remains. I don't want some happiness which is going to come and go. Okay, I want something which remains permanently with me, so that I can be happy 24 into 7, or a better word would be I
Yes.
could be blissful.
Yes. So basically, when you say, I want to remain continuously happy, you are saying that I want to feel pleasant and peaceful continuously. Or you're saying that I want every moment which comes to be better than the current moment, right? Because if you are feeling pleasant and peaceful watching Netflix, then that is all you would do. But you don't keep watching it. There comes a time when you really get tired doing that. You get exhausted doing that, and hence you shift, right? You get tired scrolling Instagram, so you go to Facebook, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, or elsewhere, right? So you are deriving some sort of happiness by scrolling Instagram, but in some way you are also creating a sense of boredom, perhaps, and you're also searching for enhancing your experience. Isn't that true?
Yeah.
So all our endeavors, Jay, is for this one objective: to enhance our experience, to feel pleasant every moment, to make the next moment better than this one. Right? The next moment could be next minute, next hour, next day, next year. I mean, it could be next anything. Right? We all go to schools around 20 years of our life, roughly, not because we enjoy doing that. I mean, come on, except the lunch breaks and the games period, who enjoyed going to school? It was a torture, right? To just be, bombarded with all that information, right? But we all went to school with the hope that a couple of years later, when we grow up, we would have a better experience of life, because we would be able to make a living and thus have a comfortable life. We would be able to buy things, this, that, whatnot, right? So our education was all about buying a pleasant experience in the future in exchange of an unpleasant experience in the present.
Perfect.
Right? So when all our endeavors are only to experience this pleasantness, this peacefulness, or what you call as happiness, then we need to realize, Jay, that anything you do outside is only a medium for you to feel that way inside. The experience of happiness does not lie in those televisions, in those songs, in those clothes, in those food items. It does not lie there. Had it been so, life would have been very simple, very easy. Anyone who's unhappy, give him a chocolate and wow, he's brimming with laughter and joy, right? But that's not the case, right? Not everybody likes the same soap.
Yep.
Not everybody does the same things, right? So everything that we do outside is just a stimulus for us to experience that happiness inside. Now, when the experience of that happiness exists inside, and all our endeavors are simply to experience it, to feel it, then why to go outside when you have the manufacturing recipe inside, right? I mean, you are the manufacturer. If you are manufacturing biscuits, would you go to a neighbor's shop to buy them, or would you just go to your production line and pick one and have it?
Right.
Go
to our production line.
Now the problem is, Jay, right? So now the problem is that people do not know how to access the production line. They know that it is being produced inside, but they do not have the keys to unlock the factory and to be able to eat it directly without having to bother to go to the shopkeeper and pay the money and buy it from him.
Right.
Because inside you, because you have a factory of biscuits, you have an inexhaustible source of biscuits, right? I mean, there are perhaps millions of biscuits being produced every hour.
Right.
But outside, you'll just get 1 packet, 2 packets, 3 packets. You'll get it in packets. Similarly, Jay, when you seek for happiness through things outside, you get it in packets. It exists for some time and then it goes away. And then you want to do something else. You want to talk to someone else. You want to just, seek and search or do something to again experience it inside. But when you shift your focus inside and you ask yourself, hey, if it is inside, why am I searching for it outside? Let me find out how can I actually experience it inside directly without the help of any external stimulus. And the day you find this formula, you are free, and this is why we call this Mukti, moksha, liberation. It's not about your soul getting out of your body and going somewhere in heaven or, I mean, that's nonsense. Everybody's free after they die. Have you ever seen a person who's caged after they died? No. Liberation, Mukti, moksha, what these words mean is you are free from your dependency on people or things outside for determining how you are feeling inside. It means you are a master of your own self. This is what in India we call Swami, Swami, Swayam. And me means Malik, right? This is what we will call as master. A master means someone who has mastered himself, not the world. You cannot master the world.
Right.
All you can master is yourself, right? So all of spirituality is all about the spirit of knowing the reality. A reality of what? I mean, knowing the reality of outside world is science, but knowing the reality of inside world is spirituality.
Amazing.
Right? And when you ask me how to create that balance, it's very simple, Firstly, we need to understand that nothing outside is the source of our happiness. It is at the most just a stimulus. And we can be the creators of our own happiness without the stimulus as well. At the same time, whatever we need in the external world to create a comfortable experience of life, that is the amount of attention and energy we must pay to it, right? Like you need food to eat.
Okay.
Right? So you must make all efforts to find that food. You need a healthy body. If there's pain in your body, you will not feel pleasant. So you need to make efforts that you have a healthy body. You need a comfortable chair, a comfortable bed to sleep, right? You need a car to travel or a vehicle to do so. So everything which you require to make your experience of life comfortable, because wherever there is discomfort, there is going to be physical pain. And if there is physical pain, you cannot be peaceful. You are just fooling yourself. If there's pain in your legs and you're saying, oh, I am feeling so joyful and peaceful. I mean, come on, you're being stupid. You're being ignorant of the pain, right? So anything which can help you to create comfort in your experience of life, that is the amount of attention you need to pay to the things outside, right?
Okay.
And the remaining time, you can pay attention to the things inside. And then, Jay, when you do this for a long period of time, you will come to a point wherein you will be able to experience happiness, joy, or peace at the snap of a finger.
Okay.
It would become a continuous undercurrent. Like you have an ocean. In the ocean, you see waves, right? There are waves rising and falling, but there's a stability beneath those waves, right? As you go deeper and deeper, there's a lot more stillness inside.
True.
Right? So once you realize yourself, Jay, then peace and joy become your continuous nature. And irrespective of whatever you do on the outside, whatever happens on the outside, be it an earthquake, be it the death of the loved one, be it anything good or bad, nothing changes how you are feeling inside. Right?
Right.
And then you can live a life not to get, but to give.
True.
Right?
True.
To give, to share, to spread, because you have gotten all that you need. All you wanted was happiness. You have it. Now, what do? You give it, right? I mean, whenever you have something more, what do? You share it. Because you cannot use it. You cannot use it. You cannot lose it. So what do? You share it.
Share it. That's true.
That's exactly what one does and what I'm trying to do.
So was this the turning point in your life from pursuing chartered accountancy to running an NGO? Was this, because I haven't introduced you as a chartered accountant. Okay, so for all the listeners and viewers, Nakul is a chartered accountant first, but then he shifted his focus to this. So here I want to ask you that, was this a turning point? Was a turning point in your life?
Well, not really, Jay, because I was in my journey, our journey of finding the answers to all these questions of life. I realized very soon that life is not about me. I am here for life. I am here to make this world a better place. I am here to serve others. And hence, almost a decade ago, I started this non-profit organization, this NGO which I run, named Renovatio. And we've been doing a lot of things in Renovatio. Of course, Renovatio helped me in my journey as well. Because when you're serving others selflessly, you learn so much from them. So much, You realize that happiness does not lie in achieving. It actually lies in sharing. There's a deep fulfillment which can be experienced when you just help someone for something with no expectations, for no reason. You do it just because you can do it. Right? Not because you're going to get something from doing it. So, doing this certainly helped me in my journey in a very big way. I can perhaps never put it into words because there have been so many instances which helped me to evolve as an individual. But yeah, after around 4 or 5 years of me having started and running this NGO, and I've already expanded it to 5 cities, by then, I had this moment of spiritual awakening, self-realization. And ever since, so I'm not a qualified chartered accountant. I'm 100% educated, but I dropped CA when I was left with just one group of CA final. So I'm 90% qualified, 100% educated, of course. And while in intermediate, I was amongst the city toppers for one group. So, I mean, it's not a question that मैं CA ban pata ki nahi ban pata. Of course, ban jata.
Yes.
Right. But then after having an awakening, life had a different objective. Now it was not about addressing balance sheets, saving tax, helping people figure out their loans. I knew life had a greater purpose. I knew I had a secret recipe which everybody wanted, but very few had. Right? And it would be, injustice that a person like me who has this master key
And
does not share it with others, but remains continuing to file income tax returns and all those things, right? So that is when my life pivoted from simply making all those Excel sheets and audits and all those things to now helping people audit their life, to now helping people save the tax of miseries and suffering in their life, and to get the subsidy of joy, happiness, and unending peace, to find the real wealth of life, which is that state of harmony within, which never ends. So yeah, this is where my life pivoted, and here I am today, having helped thousands and millions of people with this clarity, and still being able to do more through beautiful people like you.
Amazing, man. Amazing. Really appreciate all the efforts that you are taking. And when you talk about the master key, or say that key to our manufacturing unit within, so what is that key? How should one get that key? And once you open the door, what you will get?
Well, when you open the door, what will you get? Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, let it be a surprise, because actually then people will be more curious, I will be more curious, and then I will want to explore it more, because sometimes when it's hidden, you want to see it more. So let that be a surprise. So I'll take that question back, but I want to know, what is that key?
Well, the formula, when I say the key, the formula of it remains cultivating a quality of observation plus inquiry, but it is easier said than done, Jay. You need to understand what is observation. How does one cultivate this quality of observation? What is inquiry? How does one really inquire? Right? So there's a process to it, right? I mean, it's as easy as you using the word gravity, or you using the word theory of relativity and saying, oh, this is what theory of relativity is all about. But when you go to decipher it, there's so much depth within it, right? So indeed, the formula is as simple as E is equal to MC square. But then you need to attend the programs to understand, where do we get this formula from? How does it work? How do you make yourself, capable of really living it, implementing it, and thus evolving yourself to reach that doorway which unlocks everything.
Yeah, true.
Right.
True. So in that process, what do you think is the biggest hurdle in knowing oneself?
The biggest hurdle, Jay, currently as I see the world, are two things.
Okay.
The first and foremost, of course, remains that people do not know that they can know themselves. They do not know that the root cause of all their problems is not outside, it is inside them. And they do not know that anything which they are seeking is only for this happiness, and the powerhouse, the manufacturing unit of this happiness is inside, which can directly be accessed. So firstly, people are not aware of it.
Okay.
Right. And secondly, even those who are slightly aware, they lack a sense of direction to really find it. Most of them go to some spiritual organizations, some gurus, and I'm sure all of them are trying to do their best to help people find. But we live in a world where a bald man is selling a comb. So he who is bald is selling a comb. He's selling the recipe for growing hairs. So what I'm wanting to say here is, a lot of people who are even positioned as spiritual gurus or religious heads or masters do not themselves have this clarity, do not themselves have this ability. They might have good intentions, they might be very well educated, but hey, reading a book about how to swim and really being able to swim are two different things. Right. You can do a PhD on how to swim and also give lectures on it, but unless you really know how to swim, all your lectures are going to remain phony and superficial,
right?
You can never really help someone to swim. And anyone whom you really try to, explain how to swim is going to drown because your words do not come from experience, but from some notions, some ideas, some imaginary illusions, right? So a lot of people who are aware and who are really seeking to discover how to do so, they often get caught and trapped, under such organizations. And they truly have no way to find out whether what a person is speaking is true or not, unless they have a really intelligent mind, or they're really observant about the person himself who's teaching these things and how he conducts his own life. Now, if I am telling you how to be happy always, and you find me to be frustrated, miserable, or angry, you'll be like, hey, are you really sure you know the formula? I don't think so you know it, because I don't see you being it. Right? But people do not have access to such people. They are so unattainable, so unachievable, so far off. That you can only get to see them in large sessions and gatherings. That's it. All you can do is press your hands. That's it. You cannot meet them, talk to them, see their life, live with them. Right? So a lot of people who even, want to take this journey end up, being trapped with people who themselves have not taken the journey. These are people who just wear the uniform, which symbolizes that this person has taken the journey. Like a doctor wears a white coat.
Yes.
And now if you see anyone wearing a white coat and a stethoscope, you think he's a doctor, but he might just be an actor.
Right.
Similarly, not everyone who wears white, orange, black, whatever, he has a long beard, is a mystic. Right? I mean, since when did that become a recipe for knowing yourself? Is it compulsory for a doctor to wear white coat and carry a stethoscope? No. A doctor can very well be wearing t-shirts and pajama and still be a doctor.
Yeah.
Right? So how you look, what you wear has nothing to do with who you are and what you know. Right? But because through years of conditioning, people have become, really attuned with this idea that if someone is looking a particular way, only then that person can have some experience, some wisdom. They often, get caught in such organizations and in such people. And I'm not saying that these people have wrong intentions. They might have all the right intentions in the world, right? But they themselves might be confused. I mean, someone who's reading a book on how to swim might have all the good intentions. But hey, he might even think that he knows how to swim. But without really being able to swim, how do you know that you really can swim? And your understanding of how to swim is the right understanding. So, this is what the problem is, Jay. That A, either people are not aware, or B, even if they're aware, they do not find the right direction, the right person, the right master who can really help them in their journey, right? They get trapped in the web of people who ask them to surrender themselves. And surrendering yourself is like surrendering your intelligence.
Right.
And now if you surrender your intelligence, you lose your power of discernment. You cannot identify what is right, what is wrong. You feel, oh, this person is also powerful, also mighty, he has some supernatural powers. I am a small guy. Oh, I can never reach his level. I can only join my hands, touch his feet, and serve him. This is what people think. But, Jay, in my journey, I have never been someone who surrendered myself to some another person, right? I have never been someone who just took someone's word for granted, that if he's saying, he has to be true.
Right.
I always used my intelligence and experience as the certificate of something being appropriate or inappropriate. I mean, I can get mistaken at some places. I was aware, but at least for that which I'm sure, I would be sure. I would be 100% sure and wouldn't have a blind belief about it because it is there in my experience or it stands true to all my intelligence. Right? So yeah, this is the reason, Jay, why people are unable to find that manufacturing key inside. And I just hope that more and more people make this thing a priority in their life, because even those who are aware of it, they keep delaying it. They think, हाँ, कभी बुढ़ापे में सोचेंगे इसके बारे में, कभी और देखेंगे इसके बारे में, ये तो जन्मों जन्मों की तपस्या है, so they just keep making excuses for themselves. जबकि भाई, अगर तुम्हें जितनी जल्दी क्लैरिटी मिलेगी, तुम्हारी क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ उतनी ही जल्दी सुंदर हो जाएगी. Right? The earlier you get wisdom, the better choices you make and the greater life you live.
Right.
So yeah, it's important that a person makes this the priority, because if the objective behind all our endeavors is to feel happy, then why are you dependent on shopkeepers when you have the manufacturing facility? Go grab the facility, find the key and enjoy, an unending source of it.
Amazing. Yeah, brilliant. And when you were talking about that you should not surrender your intelligence, but actually try and question it, use your intelligence to question the things that someone is saying and then inquire, reminds me, one of the things that I learned from one of my masters is that you should always have a let me find it out attitude. You should not accept it and you should also not reject it. Okay.
Yes.
Always have a let me find it out attitude, because sometimes what we do is we accept the things as it is said, as you gave an example of getting surrendered. Okay, so we are accepting what they are saying as it is. That leads to maybe blind faith. Okay, and sometimes we do ke ye kuch bhi bakwas kar raha hai. Okay, we reject it without knowing anything or trying to know anything what they are saying. So my master always taught me that, Jay, always have a let me find it out attitude. Okay, whatever they are saying, they might be saying from certain angles, certain perspectives, certain experiences. Okay, why are you directly accepting or rejecting? Find it out yourself. And if you find it out yourself, your experience of life will start getting deeper, and you will start to peel off that onion so that you actually go to your inner self. So yeah, that relates quite bit over here. And when you
absolutely
and when you talk about, say, going inside, one of the things that I also feel is ego that say brings a hurdle. Okay, when you are accepting or say when you are rejecting, that means you already know something. Or when you don't want to explore something, that means you already know. That means some ego is there within you, कि मैं तो ऐसा हूँ. Okay, मैं basically. So I want to know your views, opinions on this, that how do you actually diminish this ego so that you can be grounded, you can be humble, and always have that let me find it out attitude?
Oh, it's very simple, Jay. The way to uncreate the ego is just the opposite of the way you created it, right? How did you create this ego? Firstly, what is ego? Ego means a sense of identity. It means the story which we tell ourselves about ourselves and also about life. The story has ideas of what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, what is this, what is that. All these ideas which we carry are nothing but a story, because they're certainly not engraved on stone. And people from different backgrounds, depending on the kind of upbringing and the kind of surrounding they have been in, have different stories. Something which is good for someone is bad for someone else. Something which is right for someone is wrong for someone else. So we often get trapped in these stories and we create very objective ideas of right, wrong, good, bad, true, false, this, that. Well, if you look at the nature of life, everything is subjective. We say that one should not lie, but we know that sometimes it is good to lie. You can help, save someone the misery which a truth might cause, right? We say that you must not bluff, but we know that bluffing sometimes works. You have to bluff, do good things as well. You must have seen people doing that. The world does that, right? So even those things which we call as morally incorrect are in some situations morally correct. Because what is moral? Nothing but something which is all about the core, the core effect of an action, right? It's not the action itself. It's about the core effect of an action. And if the core effect of an action is good, the action is good. Like cutting someone's leg is bad, right? But if you're cutting someone's leg who has diabetes and there's poison in his leg, and if you don't cut it, he might die because the poison might spread to the entire body, then that would be good, no?
Right.
So while on one hand, cutting someone's leg is bad, cutting someone who could die if his leg is not severe is good. While killing someone is bad, but killing someone who's being a threat to your life, who could be a soldier from another country, could be a terrorist, could be just a criminal. Killing that person is good because it is helping you to save your own life. Right? So nothing in existence is just objective. Everything is subjective. I mean, science is discovering that even the physical laws of the world are in themselves subjective. They say that there are planets where there are gravitational anomalies. Forget other planets. There are gravitational anomalies on our own planet. They say that time is a dimension, and time can be trespassed. You can move forward and backward in time, right? So they say that distance in space can be shortened by creating a wormhole and just quickening your journey. So even the laws of physics are not objective. The laws of the material world do not seem objective. How then can you imagine that the laws of the psychological world can be objective? Everything which we think or believe to be right, true, or good is subjective, right? And once you really understand this, then you start questioning everything that you believe to be true. So I said observation and inquiry. So whenever you feel good when someone praises you, you just hold on, you just pause and you think, hey, what am I feeling? You observe that, right? And you say, I'm feeling good. But why am I feeling good? Oh, because he praised me. But he just made some sounds like blah, 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 blah. It is me who gave meaning to those words. And if I am allowing myself to feel good when he says some good words, I am also allowing myself to feel bad when he's saying some foul words. Right? So when you observe and you inquire, you realize that, hey, I'm outsourcing my happiness and misery to that person. Right? Why should what someone think or say about me determine how I feel? It is me who should decide why I feel what I feel. Right? So the simplest way to uncondition the ego is this, Jay, that you observe everything that you think, feel, and do. And before you just, take an impulsive, pattern-driven choice, you just question yourself that why do I feel like doing this? Why do I think this is the right thing to do? What makes me, agree that this thing is really, really true? Could it not be false? Could it not be different? Right? And once you start asking yourself these questions, you start opening yourself up to the possibility of discovering what is really true. You start unconditioning your stories. You start changing the stories which you have created, changing your beliefs because they are blind, right? Changing your ideas, right? And that is when you start becoming a person who's really humble. Because Jay, pride or arrogance comes when you think you know something, you have something, you are really powerful, Exactly. And humility comes when you realize that, hey, I might know something, but on the giant scale, that something is really nothing. Right? All I have is just a drop in the ocean, not the entire ocean. So for some people, that drop seems to be the entire ocean. So they feel, I am the drop. And those who realize that there is an ocean, they're like, I'm just a drop. Right? So humility happens automatically once you have clarity. Once you have this perspective that, hey, I am actually nothing. I'm just a grain of sand in this existence. Right? And while I can do something significant as long as I'm alive here, I can do something which makes the lives of everyone better. I can do something to enhance my own experience of life and make it better. But I should never mistaken myself to think of, as someone very important or very big thing or very important. No, nature will recycle me the way it has been recycling my forefathers and all other species, right? I did not choose to come here, and I might not even have a choice to leave this place.
Right.
I mean, we do have if you decide to commit suicide, but other than that, nature will decide that, boss, your time is over. Let's go. Right? So I am just a puppet to the hands of nature, to the hands of life, to the hands of existence.
Right.
And a puppet, when he realizes he's a puppet, does not feel arrogant, does he? He just dances with joy. Just dances that, wow, let me dance as long as I'm alive because I have this opportunity to be alive. A rock does not, a tree does not. I do.
Amazing.
Let's celebrate this life, right?
Amazing. And this is the one question that I ask all my guests. What is success according to you?
Oh, success is very simple. I think success is currently the way people understand it very overrated. People think success is about having fame, power, wealth, and influence. But that's not true. Because why do you want wealth, power, and fame? Simply because in some way it makes you feel secure. It makes you feel important. It makes you feel, powerful for having access to resources which can give you comfort. Basically, because in some way these carry an idea of you feeling happy and peaceful, irrespective of anything. But success truly means you being able to do what you intended to do. That's success. You wanted to get up early today. You got up early. You're successful in getting up early, right? You wanted to learn guitar, and over a couple of months you learn guitar. You're successful in learning a guitar, right? So success is not one fine point which exists somewhere, that place where you will reach and then you will just be happy and peaceful. Because hey, nobody is absolutely happy and peaceful unless they know the key to being so. Right? You look at anyone who seems to be wealthier, famous, powerful, they all look miserable. They all, a lot of them take antidepressants. A lot of such people commit suicide. A lot of such people cannot even sleep at night. Come on. Something which any bird, rat, or dog does naturally, which is being able to sleep. You need pills to do so? Is this what intelligence and evolution really mean? I mean, if you need pills to do something which every other species does naturally, you are a big failure, my friend. You're a big failure, right? You cannot imagine yourself to be successful if you need pills to sleep, right? So success is you being able to do whatever you wish to do, right? And whatever you wish to do, Jay, is certainly in order for you to feel happy and peaceful, right? For you to feel pleasant. So for me, true success means when you reach a point where you remain happy and peaceful, like the undercurrent which runs in the ocean, right? Irrespective of anything and everything, you are the determinant, the owner, the master of your own experience of life. Not the outcomes of your life, because the outcomes of your actions depend on so many situations. This very session right now is not just dependent on you and me, but also on the internet.
Exactly.
Also on the cell phone battery, right? And on so many other things, electricity. So the outcome of our actions depends on so many variables, right? But the income, the income depends on us. So the day you're able to determine more and more about the way you feel, and you're able to remain and feel the way you feel, the way you wish to feel continuously, you're a successful boss. So for me, success is simple. Anyone who is able to remain more happy, more peaceful, and more comfortable, in tune with how much he wishes to be, is successful to that extent.
Okay, amazing. Amazing. And any final note from your end to all the viewers and listeners?
Oh yeah, my simple note would be that, guys, do not believe anything. Seek to know. He who believes without experience or evidence is blind, but he who seeks discovers, and he's the one who has eyes. And it is beautiful to have eyes, isn't it? So please don't have any blind beliefs about right, wrong, good, bad, true, false, heaven, hell, whatever you have, right? Make use of your intelligence. This is what makes you human, right?
Yes.
Seek, ask questions, observe, wonder, explore, experiment. Don't give up. Trust me, if I can find, so can you, and so can everyone else within this life itself. Your happiness is in your hands. And I really hope that you own it and don't lose it.
Amazing, amazing, Nakul. And thank you so much, Nakul, for sharing all the wonderful and deeper aspects of our life and helping us to actually say pause and reflect to go within ourselves so that we can discover that manufacturing unit of happiness within us and stop going and buying biscuits of happiness outside. Thank you so much, Nakul,
Absolutely.
for doing this podcast.
Thank you, Jay. It was a pleasure being with you. And I really appreciate your spirit of inquiring, of wondering, and of seeking answers to some of the most important yet ignored questions of life. So I'm glad you're doing this. I wish you best on your journey, and I'll be happy to support it in every way I can.
Thank you, Nakul.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good day.